Adrian M. Soto writes, does Batman vs. Superman have competition now with Robert Downey Jr. reportedly to be in Captain America 3? Love the show. Thanks.
Yeah. They aren't going head to head anyway. I mean, they've moved them months apart from each other, or a year apart from each other. So it's, if you're asking competition as in which movie in theoretical terms is going to make more money, sure, Captain America 3 is now going to give Batman vs. Superman a run for its money, but they're not going to be against each other because they're not opening anywhere near each other.
Wait a second, it's only a couple weeks, right? Batman v Superman, and then it opens in March, and then
Captain America
opens in May.
Sorry,
so it's only
months.
2 months.
Yeah, a couple months.
Yeah.
Which is plenty. 8 weeks, yeah.
I almost feel like Marvel's trying to one-up DC. It's like, oh, you have your two biggest characters, Batman versus Superman. We're going to have our whole universe fight each other. So.
But you know what? I think all this stuff, I really honestly think it's all been planned out. I mean, I think they were like, look, we're going to do this. You know, I mean, Joss Whedon wrote this script, and like the way, everything happens with Ultron and the Avengers segues into all these other movies. They've had their fate. They have to plan all this stuff out. So I'm sure this has been in the works. It's just like, we'll come to that when we get to that, with negotiations with Robert Downey Jr. and such. But like New York Comic Con, they announced Secret Wars. Like they're rebooting Civil War as a comic book.
As a comic book,
in 2015, and they're also rebooting Secret Wars. So to me, that's like, Marvel Comics are like, the step up in front of the Marvel movies, so what they're trying to promote. And I could easily see Avengers 4 being Avengers Secret Wars. That would be crazy.
So what about the Infinite Gauntlet storyline?
That would happen in Secret Wars. Thanos, you have to go to another planet. It just opens the cosmic universe. You could have the Guardians in there. It just makes more sense. Why would they all come to Earth? Just make.
I even think with the reboots, they're not going to stick too closely to, even with the rebooted comic books, I don't think they're going to follow them too awfully closely. But it does raise an interesting question, though, about the directions they're going to go and how they're going to handle this. And you mentioned a really interesting point, because I think you're completely right when you said that they've had this planned out. I think they've had it planned out loosely with some flexibility. For instance, I don't think they knew they were going to bring Robert Downey Jr. back. So if all this report is true, I'm willing to bet this. I have nothing to back this up with, okay? Nothing.
Cinema Blend. Report this.
But
100% confirmed.
I'm willing to, I'm almost willing to put money on that had they not locked back down Robert Downey Jr., or they decided they didn't want to pay him for what he's worth, because apparently opening his own movie to only $13 million means he's not worth as much as a lot of people thought. But if they decided he wasn't worth the money, or he didn't want to come back, I'm willing to put money down that they had planned then to go after Spider-Man, to get him in the cinematic universe, to have him on the other side of this coin. I'm almost willing to bet, because you need that big, like Dennis was pointing out, you need that big marquee name if you're going to do this. Hulk right now isn't it.
Yeah.
Thor
won't work.
Thor won't work for a lot of different reasons, but Spider-Man could. So I bet he was Plan B.
I don't think WB really has anything to worry about, though, because the framework for Marvel has already been set, and we've already seen these Avengers on screen together, so it's nothing new, even though the storyline is. So I'm excited for Cap 3, especially with Downey joining. But we've not seen the battle between Batman and Superman. So I just feel like they don't really have anything to compete with at the moment, especially moving out of the month. So they're not going head to head. I'm really excited for Cap 3, but I'm even more excited to see the showdown and to see what Affleck does and all of that. So yeah, I don't think WB is nervous about this news at all. But this just brings in monetary figures even more because of the star power that Robert Downey Jr. has. So,
which apparently didn't translate to the judge. All right, so let's try to fly through it. We're almost out of time, but I do want to get to as many of your guys' stuff as we can. So we're going to fly through a bunch here. So let's go through a few more here, Ashley, rapid fire.
All right, Andrew writes, do you think it's too early for Civil War?
No. We're what, 7 or 8 films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe? So do you guys feel differently? I don't think it's too soon.
I don't feel it's too early to plant the seeds, but like I was talking about the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, I'd like to see that eventually come to fruition. They've been planting near that for a long time.
They got a lot of gems. I haven't even seen the Gauntlet,
I don't need to see a movie collecting a gem every single movie.
All right, what's next?
Ann Curtis writes, if they do get Spider-Man in the Civil War movie, will they replace Andrew Garfield?
Yep, I don't see any other way, because logically it makes no sense. It has to be a new Spider-Man, because New York, Spider-Man's been flipping around New York. How come there's no mention of this giant alien invasion that happened while he was Spider-Man? Yeah, I think they would definitely have to reboot him. Do you guys see any other ways?
I think it would make the most sense to reboot him, but I do think something could be done if otherwise. But I do think a fresh take on the character, if they're continuing the storyline and, taking continuity into consideration, I think it would make the most sense.
I think they could keep him. I think they could easily write in like remember that? Yeah, I was overseas in Europe studying. I don't know. They'll figure something out. In fact, they could just not ever mention Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it'd be awesome. So they could just be like, "Hey, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, awesome."
I can see them keeping him if Andrew Garfield plans on doing more Spider-Man movies beyond just 3.
All right, what's next?
Isaac P. writes, if Captain America 3 is the Civil War plotline, what's next for the MCU universe? Where does Thanos fall into this?
Well, Thanos probably, they stretch out the Thanos thing even more and have him just kind of popping up and really make his build up as the big ultimate villain a really slow burn. So it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world for the Thanos storyline. Do you guys see it any differently?
Yeah, I want to see Thanos more developed. I mean, he was only in like one micro scene in Guardians of the Galaxy. We know he'll probably show up.
Two micro scenes.
And
they were really good micro scenes.
They were awesome, but I want more. So I'm just saying, like, we got another Guardians coming up. I'm sure he'll be in that. Avengers Secret Wars, I'm calling it. So I'm just excited to see all this happening, and I'm sure Thanos will be Avengers 3. I think you're right. Probably Avengers, Civil War, Captain America, Fallen Son. That could probably be the way to go. Or just say, call this Civil War and just, like, hit it, All
right, what's next?
Andy Girardo writes, what other characters do you wish to appear in the possible Civil War film?
Considering I don't even know what direction they're going in or what tone it's going to have, it's impossible for me to say, this character should be there when maybe the plan they have for the story really means that character shouldn't be there, so I can't answer that at all.
I think because of what the story is, they're going to fill it with as many characters as possible because they want to be able to test, like, did this character get a good reception? They're going to put Black Panther, they're going to put Doctor Strange, Ant-Man.
Chuck the Inhumans in there, get a, like, Black Bolt or Medusa little cameo.
New Warriors, like, everyone. I think they're going to fill as many characters as possible. Daredevil, everyone.
Yeah.
Punisher.
Some of the Netflix TV cinematic side kids.
Everyone.
There,
I don't think there'll be any Netflix crossover.
No?
I think there will be.
All right, what's next?
Max writes, how do you go from Civil War, then go to Infinity Gauntlet? You have to build that slowly and carefully, right?
Well, I think they already have started building it slowly and carefully. And I think what they've been brilliant in doing is having the Infinity Gauntlet story like a very slow burn running underneath the plots of the other movies. It's there, and they just continue to do that. So I think they've been handling it really well.
I think they've been handling it really well, and it's been a slow burn and some in the after credits and all of this, and I feel like that could be really pushed out as well. It can continue to be a slow burn. They don't just have to tie it all up and make that the main storyline.
Yeah, I think we have gotten a gem every movie, to be honest with you. We really have to. It's like we got 4 gems now. They only got to do 2 more. And we got a gauntlet. So.
My biggest concern of the delay of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline is I want to see the original Avengers in the first movie fight Thanos.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want a broken up team of like a bunch of B-list and C-list characters. They can be in it, that's fine. But you have to have that core group of the first Avengers fighting them.
I agree.
Yeah.
That could happen though. That really
I know.
Even if they throw Thor back and Hulk's gone and this and that, we don't know what's going to happen. But they could always come back for Avengers 6.
As long as that happens, I'm cool with it.
All right, let's take one more.
Fabio V writes, do you think we could possibly see Loki in Captain America 3?
I believe we're going to see Loki again. I don't know that Captain America 3. I'm not sure why he would be there. He's on Asgard. He's quite happy being on Asgard right now. Thor's not in it that we know of. So I mean, I know.
Methinks I was a Loki fan who wrote that question.
If I had to put money on it, I would say no.
I'm also a Loki fan, but it just doesn't feel like it's the right place.
Doesn't make sense, because that's Captain America's become this more spy thriller type thing. I wouldn't.
Totally, it's like different worlds.
Save him.
Yeah.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.